Fuzz pedals. What are they? How many of them are there? What do they do? What do they sound like? I'm going to answer very few of those questions in this video today, but what we are going to do is hopefully have some fun and listen to some different fuzzers. So I'm making this video because when I started playing guitar and eventually diving into the world of pedals, one of the effects that I really didn't enjoy was a fuzz. I played lots of different fuzzers, including things like the Big Muff. I think everybody goes to a Big Muff from the start, and I just didn't get on with them. I didn't like the fact that there was this scooped mid bass sound. It just became a little flubby. You always sort of fell out of mixes, especially when you were live, and so it was really a pedal that I didn't get into, and I spent a long time trying to. I bought so many fuzz pedals, and they've been and gone through the years, because I'd buy it, I'd be like, oh, this is great. No, actually, I still hate this one, and then it would move on again. So I just thought if I'd make a quick video with the current fuzz pedals I have now, it might give somebody in that sort of situation a better idea of what they might like the sound of. So I've got to the point now that we're going to hear 7 or 8 fuzz pedals. Got everything that I own in terms of a fuzz out today. There are a couple of pedals I think would sort of morph into a fuzz when you really dime them. Things like the PDF. I haven't included that because that is not by name a fuzz pedal. If it's on there today, it is because there is fuzz in the name. And I've got things like a good old-fashioned fuzz face. There it is. All the way to a muff style pedal. There is a video on this one if you're interested. I'll link that below. And then everything in between, because there are just so many and they all do so many different things. I just thought we'd hear a couple. So what we'll do is we'll play a couple now. I'll come back, we'll talk about them, the other ones that we may hear, and then we'll hear the rest. But yeah, let's listen to some fuzz. So they're the first couple of fuzz sounds that we've heard. I actually thought let's go for a side-by-side comparison of the two fuzzes that I was aware of most commonly when I started looking, and that was those two. It was the fuzz face and the muff. So we heard the fuzz face to start with, and then the muff second. Just to note, this is the silicon fuzz face. You can also get the germanium. And then I'm not sure of components of the things like the Joe Bonamassa, the Jimi Hendrix, the Gypsy fuzz, all of those, I don't know. But they are all part of this fuzz face family. For me personally, I feel like the fuzz face has a little more edge or a little more grit to it. I'm not saying gain. The muff is a really gainy pedal. I think just the characteristics of a muff, it's that sitting underneath, and this was the battle that I always had with muff back in the day, is you wouldn't cut, you'd be lost in a mix. The places are there, and I think the fuzz face came to me when I was in a 3-piece band, and so the only guitarist, I needed something big but needed to be able to cut a little bit through the bassist. I'm now in a 4-piece band, not as really lead guitar, I'm much more of a rhythm player and a vocalist, so in that instance I'd be more likely to use a muff, because I'm just happy just to sit and be that layer for the lead guitarist to embellish over, make me sound better than I am by just using the muff. I'm not saying it's a bad pedal. It is something I'd really like to get into my live sound and setup currently. I just don't have it to pull my pedal board apart. But yeah, when I started, they were the two big fuzzes, the big fuzz names that I knew, and so that was why I had 4 or 5 different Big Muff Pi, Big Muff with Tone Wicker, had all of those pedals trying to find the fuzz that I liked. And I just struggled initially, but that was why I started with those two. I think we're going to get into the weird and wonderful of fuzz now. And, within those, you've got things like the Fuzz Factory, which we all know is just a mental pedal from Zvex. I've only got a clone, but it does the job. I DIY clone, built it with I built it, a friend built it, and I watched. And then we've got things like the Wampler Velvet Fuzz, the Conquistador from Way Huge Dunlop. All of those pedals have very specific sounds, very vibey, unique, and that's why I've still got them. I've not moved them on. They've all got specialities that I use and utilize in recording, doing these videos, those sorts of things. So let's hear the rest of them. I'm gonna just shoot through them short and sweet, and see how they sound, see if there's one that particularly tickles your fancy. I want to take a second just to quickly touch on the other gear that I'm using, because of course that does all contribute to the sound that you are hearing. So I'm running through a Kraken Mark 1. We're going into the channel 1, so of this amp, the cleaner of the two. The gain's running between sort of 10 and 11 o'clock, and that's what I deem to be the edge of breakup when I'm using my Hanson S style. Single coil pickups, a bit more bite, a bit more, rather than a humbucker, which has a smoother output. I've used it just because it's where I'm home at guitar. So yeah, that's my clean tone, and then all of the fuzzes are just smashing straight into the front of the amp. So let's have a quick listen. So you've heard all of them now. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was kind of just the same riff over and over. I felt like that was the best way to give you a good indication of how the different fuzzes sounded. I'm not going to sit there and talk about which one's my favourite, because as I said, they've all got different jobs, they've all got different reasons that I use them. But I'm just hoping that maybe there was a fuzz that you've heard today that you think, yeah, I'd like to give that a try, or I'd like to hear more about that. Or you can actually sort of, minimize the scope of attack in your constant gear acquisition syndrome, and just, hopefully this has helped somebody that was in the position that I was in 10 years ago when I was getting into pedals and gear. So yeah, thank you very much for sticking by. Leave a comment, or if you've got any thoughts, or maybe fuzz pedals that I should check out that I haven't today. So, get involved, maybe leave a like, maybe even subscribe if you're feeling particularly frisky. Or unsubscribe if you didn't like what I just did there. Either or, it's all good fun, isn't it? But yeah, thank you very much for sticking by, and I will see you at the next one.